Christian Horner's future in Red Bull remains uncertain, but with the latest updates on the investigation, it seems like he's looking more towards the negative outcome for his liking. Obviously, the allegations have been understood very seriously by Red Bull's brand in Austria, and sources close to the team and the sport have exposed serious doubts about whether the Brit will enter the 2024 season as the team principal of Red Bull. Is this the scenario that the Austrian team is going to pursue to be the reality for them and Horner? And more importantly, who stands to benefit from this potential move? At this point of the investigation, nothing has been concluded just yet, and we are reporting the facts as well as the statements from relevant sources. Horner remains innocent until proven otherwise, and that is how it all should be in the world of Formula One. Sources close to Formula One believe that Christian Horner won't look at the beginning of the 2024 season as the team principal of Red Bull, not because he's been proven guilty, but because of the fact that this investigation alone will take so long and the brand won't like to enter the season with the controversial figure leading them into the entire campaign. Obviously, Red Bull understood these allegations very seriously, which is why they hired an external lawyer to take care of things. But the external lawyer said that this investigation takes a lot of time and patience, and there won't be any conclusion coming soon. This is why BBC Sport believes that the future of Horner in Red Bull is more or less sealed, mostly because of the nature of the allegations. However, this renowned media outlet does not believe that Horner will resign on his own, out of goodwill and out of listening to all of the internal advices being given to him, leading to only one conclusion only. Red Bull will fire him so that the case he is currently under won't serve as a distraction to the team's ultimate goal of winning another double championship in 2024. If this is to happen, and if reports are to be believed, then it's very likely that the leadership of Red Bull would fall into the hands of the Austrian side, the one owned by Matt Mateschitz and led by Oliver Mintzlaff, who used to oversee the operations of the football club Red Bull Salzburg, but has been appointed to do the same role for the racing compartment of Red Bull. This would definitely show that the side that didn't want Horner on their hand, if he is to be proven innocent, was the Austrian one, as the Brit has very close connections with Uvidia, who is the Thai-based owner of Red Bull's brand. But if Horner is to be found guilty of the allegations, then a cruel destiny awaits him. Not only will he be gone for good from Red Bull after 19 successful years and 13 combined championships, but it's very unlikely that he will ever find another seat in the sport, considering the fact that F1 takes allegations of this matter very seriously. This is why the external lawyer wants to extend the examination as long as possible and involve all opinions and statements that matter, including one of the female employees who started the case against Horner in the first place. Elaborating on this matter, an F1 source claimed, "This is not a trial, and we're not going to have an answer and an outcome by the end of the day. This is not something that's going to be rectified that quickly. People are expecting this to be over before the start of the F1 season, but that just isn't going to happen." As of now, there is one very important thing that you must remember. Horner is presumed innocent until proven otherwise. Therefore, it would not make sense for him to step down from what seems to be the most responsible position when it comes to the racing operations at Red Bull, just so that he could clear his name in a case that will certainly take a lot more time than anticipated. And after the latest reports regarding the involvement of Jos Verstappen in this entire case, as the relationship between him and Horner has gone bad in the past couple of years, and the fact that it was the Dutch media who reported first on this issue, do make you wonder whether or not the father of the three-time world champion had something to do with Horner's case. Again, this is just a rumour, and we are stating some obvious motives. We are not saying that Jos stands behind it in any way whatsoever, but the facts speak louder than words. Verstappen considers Marco to be his second father, and he's very close and loyal to his family circle, one of which Horner was a part of not that long ago, but is very unlikely to continue to be so. Elaborating on this matter to a further extent, Total Motorsport, one of the websites that reported closely on Horner's case from day one, went on to write, "By the way, the fact that the story first leaked in the Netherlands of all places is probably no coincidence. Behind the scenes in Formula One, there are whispers that the personal relationship between Horner and Jos Verstappen is badly damaged, and Verstappen Jr. is considered a loyal person whose loyalty lies primarily with two men, his father and Helmut Marko. One thing is for sure, Horner won't get out of this case easily, as the first hearing reportedly started at 10 AM in London and finished at 6 PM, making it a total of 8 hours of elaborating himself and answering questions from the lawyers involved in this case. Parallel to that, Red Bull Racing's corporation started their own internal investigation regarding this matter, just so that they would be sure that none of it was a setup or a game from the higher elite, which is Red Bull's brand in Austria. But the consequences for the team, regardless of the result, are going to be massive. If Horner is found to be guilty, then there is always going to be the question of, Was this the only case in question, or was this the only one that the employee had the courage to report? This is very hard to believe, considering the fact that Horner has been the team principal since 2005, and no similar story has come across against him. But then again, everything is possible until proven otherwise. We must assume all of the possibilities to be realistic. On the other hand, Horner's longevity with Red Bull brings a lot of pros and cons to the table, with the cons very likely to turn against Red Bull in this particular scenario. He's practically the CEO of the racing branch, meaning that there is no bigger authority than him other than the Red Bull brand, and the fact that the complaint was made directly to the headquarters of Red Bull in Austria speaks volumes about how serious this case could be. But if Horner departs Red Bull, willingly or by the order of the team, then it's safe to say that a massive shakeup is awaiting the Austrian squad. The report states that if he were to be replaced, it would be somebody from the Austrian side, very likely Oliver Mintzlaff as the CEO of the team, with Jonathan Wheatley taking over from the role of team principal. Jonathan has served his role as the sporting director for quite some time at Red Bull and has joined them ever since 2006 at Renault, making him one of the longest standing figures alongside Horner and Newey. Speaking of which, Newey's expressed his desire to remain in Red Bull, despite the relationship between him and Horner going south, similar to the one between Horner and Joss. The Brit's mastermind has stated his goal to remain loyal to the team with which he has also found himself again in the sport. But his wife, liking a tweet in which Newey was lured to Ferrari after his controversial statement of feeling regret to not have worked with the Maranello team, did spark some talks about his future. After all, who could have thought that Hamilton would make such a bombshell move? And if this happened in a couple of days, then one could only wonder what possible departures Red Bull might face in the foreseeable future if Horner is no longer leading them into the new era. But if all of this is dropped and Horner is found innocent, then the Brit would very likely apply new regimes to the leadership. This will come as a surprise to many, but the report states that the internal politics in Red Bull are at a very bad level currently, and if Horner continues with his job, then he would have no other choice but to get rid of some of the liabilities and make sure that there won't be any distractions in the future. And judging by the past statements of Horner, such as the one after Monaco 2022 where Joss publicly bashed the team's strategy that favoured Perez instead of his son, Horner won't let any driver be above the team in any certain matter. If there's one thing that Horner has learned in his long F1 tenure, it's that superstar drivers come and go, but the team remains the same. That was the case with Vettel, where the German driver suddenly decided to stop the collaboration with the Austrian team. And even though Red Bull struggled throughout the entire turbo hybrid era, they have risen to the occasion in 2021 and the new aerodynamic era in 2022, proving that everything is possible with the right setup and the right people behind your car. Obviously, Verstappen is a talent of his own, and nobody should question his talent as a driver. But if his father is indeed standing behind these allegations, and Horner proves to be innocent, then the relationship between him and the team principal would only turn out to be worse. Considering the fact that Verstappen already favours Marco as the more valued person in Red Bull. But with this in mind, a lot of questions will be answered for Red Bull in the upcoming period. And what they can hope for is that these distractions won't be too big so that they won't be able to focus on what's the ultimate goal for the team, winning races and championships. With this in mind, what do you think about Horner's future in Red Bull? And more importantly, do you think he did what he was accused of? Let us know in the comments below, and after you do that, make sure to click on the video that appears on your screen right now.